Did Shang invite his friends to Cabo with the intention of luring her there to harm her and orchestrate her death? Even though weeks have passed since Shanquella Robinson's tragic death, the entire internet remains outraged and demands answers. Just when we thought the case couldn't take another dark turn, authorities have released new details and evidence suggesting that her death was not an accident, but was in fact planned by her own friends. But why did they hate Shanquella so much? What was their real motive, and what is the FBI saying about this devastating tragedy? Shanquella Robinson's death has left the community in shock and confusion. For those unfamiliar with the case, here's a quick summary before we dive into the latest updates. Shanquella traveled to Cabo, Mexico, with 6 friends for a birthday trip. They left North Carolina together, and Shanquella was in perfect health when she left. The group included Malik Dyer, Winter Donovan, Elise Hyatt, Dejanae Jackson, her best friend Khalil Cook, and Nazir Wiggins. Nazir has since come forward, stating he arrived in Cabo a day after the others and wasn't present during the events leading to her death. According to Shanquella's mother, Khalil called her the day after they arrived in Cabo to say that Shanquella had drunk too much and had alcohol poisoning, so she wasn't feeling well. He later called again to say that medical staff were trying to resuscitate Shanquella in their room. When she passed away, Khalil told her mother that the resuscitation efforts had failed. The group decided to cut their trip short and return to North Carolina. But in an inexplicable move, they left Shanquella's body behind in Mexico and took her luggage with them. Khalil even dropped off her belongings at her parents' house. In a recent interview, Shanquella's mother revealed that Khalil continued to lie, still claiming Shanquella died from alcohol poisoning when he dropped off her luggage. Khalil had spent a lot of time with Shanquella's family, so they knew and trusted him. Even after returning from Cabo, he would frequently visit the family. However, everything changed once the autopsy results came back about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And ever since, Khalil has gone silent. Shanquella's family hasn't heard from him since. Before we dive into the shocking revelations from the autopsy and how it exposed Khalil and the rest of the group, we need to discuss a police report that raised questions about what really happened. According to the report, her friends told medical staff that Shanquella had consumed a lot of alcohol and was found severely dehydrated. The police report from the day she died states that resort guests called for medical help, claiming she had drunk too much. A doctor reportedly assessed her as stable but dehydrated and said the group refused to take her to the hospital. The report went on to say that Shanquella went into cardiac arrest and was declared dead at 6 p.m. However, it was later revealed that her friends ignored medical advice and refused to take her to the hospital, which should have raised alarms with the attending medics. But based on what we know now, it seems her friends may have lied about the alcohol poisoning, and the medics didn't question them further. Before the autopsy results were released, Mexican authorities treated Shanquella's death as an accident and did not investigate further. But once the autopsy came back, it contradicted the police report in several crucial ways, including the time of death. The police report claims she passed away around 6 p.m., but the autopsy listed her time of death as 3 p.m. While there is typically a time lapse in determining the exact time of death, a 3-hour difference raises serious doubts about the accuracy of the police report. More significantly, the autopsy revealed that the cause of death was a severe spinal cord injury and atlantoaxial subluxation. a condition where excessive or unstable movement occurs in the first two vertebrae of the neck. This pointed to the likelihood that Shanquella had been physically attacked. Interestingly, the autopsy made no mention of alcohol in her system, which would have been expected if she had truly consumed enough alcohol to cause poisoning. This absence further suggested that her friends were lying and trying to cover up the truth. Things became even clearer when a disturbing video leaked online. The footage showed Shanquella being repeatedly struck by one of her friends, Dejana Jackson, while Shanquella did not fight back. To make matters worse, the rest of the group stood by, watching the assault unfold without intervening. In the video, Khalil could also be heard telling Shanquella, "Can you at least fight back?" This statement, along with the disturbing footage of Shanquella being attacked, paints a grim picture. From the information we have, it seems that the autopsy supports the possibility that Shanquella could have been injured during the fight. It's also been reported that Winter Donovan hit Shanquella and even slammed her into a wall. Amid public outcry and the tireless determination of Shanquella's parents to get justice, Mexican authorities reopened their investigation into her death. The FBI also became involved. In light of new evidence and the mounting pressure, Mexican police overturned their previous ruling of an accidental death and have now classified it as a femicide. For those unfamiliar with the term, femicide refers to the killing of a woman based on her gender. Mexican authorities believe that Shanquella's death was partially due to her gender, which is why they've reclassified it as femicide. If anyone is convicted, they could face up to 60 years in prison. This change in the investigation has led many to believe that Shanquella's death may have been planned, possibly even before they left North Carolina. The fact that her friends watched her get beaten without intervening or asking the attacker to stop is seen by many as evidence of a coordinated effort. Things took an even more suspicious turn when another video from the trip surfaced, showing that the group was clearly plotting something without Shanquella's knowledge or involvement. This raised major red flags for many, as it was clear the group was trying to make sure Shanquella couldn't overhear them or find out what they had been discussing. People also pointed out the odd timing of their departure from Mexico. Leaving so quickly after her death seems suspicious. Many believe the trip may have been a cover to hurt her in another country, then quickly return to the United States to avoid facing justice. The fact that they left so soon and left Shanquella's body behind after only a few hours intensified public suspicion, with many thinking the friends know much more than they're letting on. Public outrage grew, with many calling for the entire group to be arrested, with some expressing their anger by saying things like, "All these people involved in Shanquella Robinson's murder need to be arrested and put away for life. If that doesn't happen, it's not going to be good. It was a planned attack. People have lost all their morals. The more I think about Shanquella Robinson's assault, the angrier I get. They planned this entire thing, intentionally took her to Mexico to kill her, caught her at her most vulnerable, and recorded it to embarrass her. It was premeditated." In recent developments, authorities seem to have confirmed that her death was indeed premeditated. Mexican authorities have announced that an arrest warrant has been issued for one of Shanquella's friends, whom they believe was the main aggressor. They released a statement saying, "This case is now fully clarified. We even have a court order." An arrest warrant has been issued for the crime of femicide, with the victim being Shanquella and the alleged perpetrator being one of her friends, who was the direct aggressor. It wasn't a fight, but a direct assault. We are carrying out all necessary procedures, including an Interpol alert and a request for extradition to the United States. Though they didn't confirm the name, It is widely believed that the arrest warrant was issued for Dejanay, especially given the viral video that surfaced. While this news has brought a sense of justice to many, there are concerns that extradition may not happen. According to experts, the chances of Dejanay being extradited to Mexico are uncertain, with a 50-50 probability.